Hello, everyone. Hi, Cheryl Arkle.
Jasmine Aird.
Not Jane, Jasmine. Jasmine is our special guest today. Jasmine, as you know, works with us. She's part of the Better Reading team. And Jane has gone off for a girly weekend. So that's where Jane is. Welcome to What Are You Reading? What Are You Reading? You tell us what you're reading and we tell you what we're reading. Is that right, Jasmine?
That's right.
Yeah. So what are you guys reading? So much is happening this week. We're still celebrating the top 100. We had such a fabulous time last night with Craig Sylvie.
Oh gosh,
wasn't he wonderful?
He was so good.
For all those that joined, Craig was fabulous. If you missed the live event last night, you can always jump on and watch it. It's recorded, and I know a lot of you do that. So welcome, everybody. I can't see any comments yet, Dex, but I'm sure everybody's there. Hello, everybody. There's Jessica. I want to talk a little bit about Craig. His previous book, Jasper Jones, now this. I don't think there's been a single comment where you, the readers, have not enjoyed it. Have you seen one?
Not one. Everyone has just embraced this book. It's just been so embraced by all our readers. They love him.
They do. Well, they love story as well, and they love good story, and that's why. Listen, everybody, welcome. What are you reading? Cheryl Arkle.
Jasmine Aird.
And we're talking about what we're reading this week. Now, welcome, everyone. Jessica says she's reading The Sun in Her Eyes by Page Toon. Malvina, hello. I think you were on the event last night, Malvina. I think I saw you there. Lovely to see you. Last night, there you go, with Craig Sylvie was excellent. I'm reading Book Lovers by Emily Henry. Christine says good afternoon. And Christine is from Mount Helen, Craig. From Mount Helen, and Craig was amazing last night. There you go. He was really amazing. Carolyn, I have just started reading A Few of the Girls by Maeve Binchy. Love Maeve. You know, I met Maeve.
Really?
Do you know, I know everybody. And years ago, Maeve came to Australia, and she was so beautiful. And I had the absolute pleasure of looking after her for a book signing. But anyway, that was a long time ago. She's not with us anymore. It's a collection of essays and short stories. This is the Maeve book, published after she died. I must say it's lovely to be back in her world with her wonderful style of writing. I will be sad when I finish it. Isn't that happens, doesn't that?
Yeah, that does.
When you're reading, you kind of get a little bit, you start to grieve if you're loving the book. You start to grieve as you near the end, don't you?
You want it to keep going, but you also want to finish it. It's an interesting feeling.
Yes, torn. Okay, all right. What have you got there, Jasmine?
Okay.
Let me just find my spot.
So I will start off with The Resistance Girl by Mandy Robotham. We worked on two of her previous books. They were The German Midwife and The Berlin Girl, and I loved both of them. She writes real quality, just solid World War II historical fiction. And this latest one is set in Norway during World War II, and it's a gripping and powerful story of courage and sacrifice about the Norwegian resistance.
Yeah, and no relation to Michael Robotham.
No relation.
No, but a beautiful
she's wonderful.
Cover. Yeah,
and
gorgeous
it's a
cover.
really unique take on World War II fiction, I think, this one. So I think it's going to do really well.
Julie says hello. Hi, Julie. Tanya says hello and that she loved Honeybee. Fiona says Craig was wonderful and loved Honeybee. Tracy says hi. Hi, Tracy. Denise, hi, Denise. From Wet Old Brizzy. Well, Denise, it's exactly the same in Sydney.
Yes.
Wet Old Sydney. And it's been Wet Old Sydney for a few weeks now. Julie loved Honeybee. Sabine, hi, Sabine. Sabine's home with COVID. Well, I hope you've got a good book. Although I have heard it's hard to concentrate the first couple of days, so I hope you get well soon. Rita loves all our recommendations. Just started Wake by Shelley Burr, who, segue, where is it? Over here, bottom. There we go. Shelley was in a couple of weeks ago, and we actually did a live podcast with her. I'm going to tell you that it's gripping. It's her first crime book, actually, or her first book, and it's set in it's a rural crime book, and it's about the disappearance of a young girl 19 years ago. And it's got a magnificent cover, hasn't it?
It does.
And the podcast is out now. So if you want to know more about Shelley, reader, go and check out the podcast. Bronwyn says, hi, I'm reading Three Sisters by Heather Morris. Tracy, I missed the live event last night but watched it this morning. Good. Jill says, hi Jill. Denise, I've just finished reading The Thread by Victoria Heslop and now started Carnegie's Maid by Maria Benedict. I don't know if I know that, but we'll look that one up. See, this is why you need to tell us what you're reading, because we learn about new books too. Sabine reading 40 by Lisa Carlo and Sarah Wells. Alita, I'm reading The Paris Collaborator. And Robin is reading Monica Tan's Stranger Country. Everybody should read this book. It's about a young woman doing a 30,000 trip through outback Australia. Wow.
That's a big one.
That's a big one. What else have you? Oh, will I go next?
You go
with
next.
This one? Only because you have to tune in tomorrow. This young woman has been all over Twitter as well. I don't know how to pronounce her name. It's called Unknown. It's Akush Kul Untaeth is what I'm going to say. Look how beautiful she is. This is a memoir about her family who fled South Sudan in 1996 and spent time in a Kenyan refugee camp and her journey to Australia. Extraordinary book. Do you know, and I don't know if you know this, but it was kind of really naive of me. Many, many years ago, I always thought refugee camps were places of refuge. But in actual fact, they can be as dangerous as, not being in what's supposed to be a safe place. Lots of crime, lots of violence, and very, very hard place to live. And you're not only suffering, being displaced from your home and your homeland, and then you walk into this environment. But anyway, she is doing an event with us tomorrow at 12 o'clock, midday. She's going to be there live, taking your questions and talking about her experience. Join us. It's going to be fantastic. Yes. Unknown. Okay. All right. What have you got?
Okay. I have The Natural History of Love by Caroline Petit. This is so beautiful. It's a historical novel, and it moves from Brazil to France and then to Australia. And it's actually based on some real life figures. So it's the 19th century French naturalist and his Brazilian lover, Madame Fonseca, I think her name is. And it's a gorgeous feminist reimagining of this woman's story. And I think she was actually inspired to write the book when she visited a mansion that the family owned days before it was bulldozed.
Oh, wow. Yeah. There you go.
So it's, very
beautiful cover too, isn't it? Okay, Judy enjoyed the session with Craig Silvey and is reading Unwilling by John Hart. Christine, Honeybee was brilliant, currently reading Wake by Shelley Berg, which we've talked about. I'll hold that up again. Yes. Tanya is reading Lily Harford's Last Request. And what else have you got there?
Okay, so the next lot of books I have, we released our top 100 a couple weeks ago.
We're going to put up the poster to that.
Let's put up the poster decks. And we've talked a bit about some of the books on there, but I thought today I would share some of my favourite books from the top 100.
Now, before you start,
yes.
Jasmine, look at that poster up there on screen. You can jump onto our website. Firstly, you can buy any of the books. Any of the books that we talk about today, any of the books on the top 100 are available to be purchased on the website. But also there is that downloadable poster and you can check off how many books you've read. Do you know some people have checked off up to 70 books?
That's insane.
I know, crazy. All right, tell us your favourites.
Yeah, so my first one, Before You Knew My Name by Jacqueline Bublitz. This was my favourite read of last year.
Wow, big call. Jasmine's a big reader.
This was it. So this came number 13 on the list. And it's a gripping lyrical feminist story that tips the crime genre on its head. So it's a crime novel, but it doesn't ask who done it. Instead, it asks who was she and what was her life like and what did she leave behind. And it's narrated posthumously by the protagonist who has been murdered. And it sort of pieces together her life. And it's absolutely stunning. And I loved it, and I highly, highly recommend it to everyone. So
wow, that is a good recommendation.
Yeah.
All right, let me get through some of these.
Yes.
Lisa says, hi, just finished Honor by 30 Imrigar. Powerful but sad story. Teresa just started reading All the Shimmering Skies by Trent Dalton, and we love Trent. Mary Lou. Hello, Mary Lou Stevens. Mary Lou is an author. and a reader, and she's reading The Lessons by John Purcell. It's cool, cruel, and compelling. And actually, we're going to be talking about that soon too.
And this was her latest novel.
And this is that's right.
Apple Blossom.
That's Mary Lou Stevens,
Yeah.
right? Claire is reading Cleopatra and Frankenstein by Coco Mellos. Fabulous characters. Kay says, I'm reading When I Was 10 by Fiona Cummins. Natalie says, hi, I'm from Camden. Hi, Natalie.
Hi.
I'm about to start reading Lessons in Chemistry.
I loved that book.
Did you love?
Yeah, that's
there
great.
You go, Natalie. Natalie and Jasmine, similar taste. Tracy is reading a few books at the moment, mostly fantasy, but she's also reading Growing Up Aboriginal in Australia, which we talked about here too, didn't we?
Yes, we did.
Karen, hi Karen. Karen is reading The Last Station by Nicole Alexander. We love Nicole. Jill is reading The Bombay Prince by Sujata Massey. Joe says, hi ladies, I'm reading Honeybee. I loved listening to Craig explain the origins of Honeybee last night. Not only is he a brilliant author, he's a beautiful, caring and compassionate person. Thanks for having him on. And I agree with that, Joe. Isn't he lovely? He's just he's got compassion in his writing, and you see it in him as well. Okay, I'm going to put up this because this is beautiful. Lauren Chader, The Winter Dress. Now, you remember her from The Lace Weaver and from Gulliver's Wife, right? And this is her brand new book called The Winter Dress. It's a captivating historical novel based on real-life 17th century dress that was found off a Dutch island. Now, I chatted with her. I recorded a podcast with her recently. She also did an event for us a couple of weeks ago. The podcast is out now. Listen to it. She's wonderful. I like her a lot. Okay, let me see what we've got here. Julie, I've almost finished The German Wife by Kelly Rimmer. Such an interesting angle of World War II from the perspective of a German.
That's next on my to-be-read list.
There you go, Julie. And Kylie says hello to us. Hope you are both well. We are. The segment with Craig was fantastic. Currently reading A Stone's Throw Away by Carly Lane and looking forward to getting Mandy Rowbotham's new one. We have Mandy Rowbotham's new one. Do you want to hold that up? Didn't we just talk about that? Mary Lou, you'll love Lessons in Chemistry, Natalie. Carolyn, such a great session with Craig last night. Thank you for bringing that to us. Absolute pleasure, and so generous of him to offer his time, and we're so happy that he came in at number one. What else have you got there, lovely?
Okay, so this is one of my all-time favourite books, and it makes the top 100 year after year. It is The Handmaid's Tale by the one and only Margaret Atwood. This came 62 on the list. So most of you are probably familiar with The Handmaid's Tale. It's been out since the 80s. There's a hit TV show. So it's a timely and powerful story set in a near future America, the Republic of Gilead, it's named, where women's rights have pretty much been erased and they're basically only valued for their ability to breed. It's harrowing read, but it's also so important, and everyone needs to read this book.
Do you know, I've got to say, I'm going to say that it wasn't my favourite book.
Really?
Yeah, it wasn't. I found it too harrowing.
It is that. It is that. And I found it too abrasive at times.
Yeah. And I really found it a very challenging read in terms of emotions.
Do you know that she made a rule when she was writing it that she wouldn't include anything that hadn't happened in history at some point in time?
Yeah,
so
wow.
It's all true.
It's all true.
I'm actually reading the sequel at the moment, The Testaments. So,
there we go. All right. Well, tell us what you thought about that book, The Handmaid's Tale. Okay. Kathy is reading The Conspiracy by Brendan Slocum. Sally, hi, Sally. She's reading The Hush by Sarah Foster. And that made the top 100.
The top 100.
Yes, it
came
did.
out late last year as well.
Yeah, which is great news. Daria is reading The Cowgirl by Anthea Hodgkinson. And she's stuck at home in rural New South Wales with COVID. Oh, look after yourself, Daria. That's hard. Hope you get better soon. Apparently it takes 7 days, so hang in there. I haven't had it yet. You have, haven't you?
Yes.
Yeah. So there we go. Melissa. Hi, Melissa. Melissa is reading The Paris Bookseller by Kerry Ma. Kylie, just had my COVID booster and flu injection yesterday. Army sore, but relaxing at home. Thank you for reminding me, because I do have to get my flu injection. And I don't think I can get my COVID booster yet. Jenny, hi ladies. At the moment, I'm reading Nurse's War by Victoria Perman. Can't wait to read Mandy Robotham's new book, as I'm a big lover of historical fiction. Tierney is reading Wake by Shelley Burr. Few of you are this week and loving it. Okay, what have you got there?
Okay, next from the top 100 is The Song of Achilles by Madeline Miller. This is the first time, I believe, that the book has made the list, but it's been out for 10 years.
Wow.
It's recently become quite popular. So it's set in ancient Greece during the Age of Heroes, and it's a fictional retelling of Homer's The Iliad, as told by the perspective of Patroclus, who is the doomed lover of Achilles. And it's a gorgeous, lyrical, historical tale, and it's spellbinding. It's just a stunning, romantic, heartbreaking read. I can't recommend this enough. It's lovely. Yeah.
Okay. Now, Christine is looking forward to the event tomorrow. She's looking forward to Akush Carl Anthiet, and that's on tomorrow, 12 o'clock live. Don't forget. Claire just said that she bought The Natural History of Love. Good. Fiona just finished Mrs. March by Virginia Fito. Fabulous. Can't wait to see the film with Elizabeth Moss. Also love the Space Between the Stars by Indira Naidu. Do you know, I want to read that too, because that's about Indira's losing her sister, I think. And apparently it's beautiful. So thank you for that, reminding me that book's out there. And Fiona's also reading Dinner with the Schnabels by Tony Jordan. Loved it. That's a really good book. Glenda is reading The Beekeeper. It's also about refugee camps and a great read. Anne says, hi ladies. Hi Anne. Mark asks, do you mostly read literature and fiction or other non-fiction? Or other example non-fiction. I'm a bit of a both person, actually. What are you?
I'm both, and I can read both at the same time. So I can have a fiction novel going at the same time as non-fiction. And sort of.
I can't have two fiction going.
No, that's too much.
Speaking of non-fiction, I mean, wow, this is our book of the week, Chloe Hooper. It's called Bedtime Story. I can't recommend. This is a memoir. I can't recommend this book highly enough. I've talked about it quite intimately in the past because I read it while I was nursing my mum recently, who died, and it is really a beautiful book, not just about grief, about family, about death, and she is just such a lovely writer. It's illustrated, and she's written The Arsonist and a whole lot of other books, but mainly not. I think she's written a couple of fiction as well.
Yeah.
But her latest books have been non-fiction. Anyway, it's Chloe Hooper. It's Bedtime Story. And I think I'm recording a podcast with her next week. I can't wait. And you know what else? And I'm going to share this with you. While I was nursing my mum, I was reading it and it moved me to my core. And so I wrote to Chloe because I happened to have her email address, and she wrote back straight away and just with the most beautiful response. So anyway, beautiful person, beautiful book, beautiful family. So thanks, Mark, for the question. Yes, I do read memoir, and, you know, I don't know, I probably do both equally. Yeah, would you say that with you? Yeah. What do you read, Mark? Let us know what your genre is. Faye, hello. Faye is reading Remember Me by Charity Norman.
I loved that.
You love that?
Yeah.
Carol says hi, and she has read a Caravan Like a Canary by Sasha Wasley and loved it, and now reading What Eden Did Next by Sheila Offler, and just finished Rising Dust and loving it, as I have all of Flo McDonald's books. Good on you, Anne. What do we got? So Rose has put out the link to the podcast there. Just remember, listen to the podcast, give us a rating. Ratings really help us, I don't know, go up the charts somehow. I don't know how the algorithm works. And also, we are almost at 1 million downloads.
Ooh.
When that happens, we will be celebrating with you. So stay tuned. Anyway, jump on, download a podcast, have a listen. They're very addictive.
Yes.
Janice says she agrees with Jasmine. Before You Knew My Name was so enjoyable, even though it dealt with a murder. Malvina just finished The Winter Dress last night. That is this beautiful book by Lauren Chader, and it was terrific. Some great twists towards the end. She's coming to my book club at Harry Hartog's tonight. How fabulous. Oh, Malvina,
wow.
You're in for a treat. We love Lauren. So say hello from us. Kylie, looking forward to getting my books. I think Kylie won the top 100 books, didn't she?
Oh, yes. How exciting.
Yeah, they'll start to come through soon, Kylie. So let us know how you go. Glenda started Out of Africa. Sally says hello and just started Too Much Lip by Melissa Lukashenko. What a cracking book. And Bron is reading Mary's Last Dance. Claire, what do you recommend from the top 100 from a Brett new to Brisbane?
Oh,
wow, so many. Well, firstly,
yes.
Honeybee. I also recommend what you've probably read it. I've got the list here. I also recommend my favourite book, Harper Lee, To Kill a Mockingbird.
Yes, of course.
But also, the book came in at number 5, Monica McInerney, Godmother. That is a really good,
It's a lovely read.
It's a beautiful read. What else have you got there?
Oh, I've got one that's not set in England, but it is set in Ireland. Normal People by Sally Rooney.
I love that too. Yeah.
It's an amazing book. It's so it's like a boy meets girl story with a difference. It's a complex modern love story, and she's extremely popular. There's an amazing TV show adaptation of this.
I've seen that too.
Yeah, it's so
wonderful.
good. Yeah, and all her other novels are fabulous. I just love Sally Rooney.
Yeah.
She's great. So,
Bron, in terms of Mary's Last Dance, I just remembered I recorded a podcast with her, and it's a beautiful story. I've loved that story, and I loved her story. Ilona, A Caravan Like a Canary is what she's reading by Sasha Worsley. Mary Lou is a huge fan of Lauren Chater's work, and thank you for holding up my beautiful book, Jasmine. I love the cover by Christine Armstrong. So Lauren Chater and Mary Lou's book. We've got that right there. Claire says Handmaid's Tale, so relevant given the USA. Yeah, Roe versus Wade right now. Isn't that
sadly
terrible?
relevant?
Yeah,
it's
sadly.
sad but true.
Very. Boys Follows Universe by Trent Dalton is set in Brisbane. Okay, that's great. Tracy, surprisingly, I like The Handmaid's Tale more than I expected. Sue is starting Still Life today.
That made the top 100 as well. That made the top 10.
Yeah,
actually.
I think it was number 10 in the top 100. Came in at 10. Leanne is reading The Silent Wife by Karen Slaughter. Marie is reading The Nurse's War by Victoria Perman, and it is flooded in Brisbane. Oh, you poor thing. Okay, what else have you got there?
This is my last recommendation. It's Outlander by Diana Gabaldon. This came 11 in the top 100. So this is the first book in the series. I've read all the Outlander books.
You know, I had lunch with her many years ago.
I'm very jealous.
Yes.
Yeah, that's amazing.
Yeah.
So for those of you who don't know about, I'm sure you all do, but I'll give a quick little intro. It follows Claire Randall, a combat nurse from the 1940s who finds herself whisked back into time where she goes to the 18th century Scottish Highlands. And this is historical fiction at its very best. Yeah.
There we go. Whoa, that's, again, another great review. Sally says to Mark that she's both a fiction and a non-fiction reader. And she said there is a fabulous book for every mood or every phase of life. I think I agree with you, Sally.
So true.
It is. It is so true. Susan is reading The Winter Dress by Lauren Chater. Anne just finished Cry on Fire by Don Winslow. Terrific read. Denise have also read Things We Cannot Say by Kelly Rimmer. I really loved it and very moving. Love historical fiction and reading lots of different authors. Mark is reading Tim, the official biography of Avicii by Mans. I don't even know that. We'll have to look that up and you can tell us what it's all about. Jill, reading The Beautiful Ones by Sylvia Moreno Garcia. Great book. Daria, Godmother by Monica McInerney. Such a great book. We love Monica.
We do.
Where is the link to the top 100 books, please? Rose will do that for you right now, Glenda. We'll get that up for you.
Oh, there it is.
Enid is reading The Paris Apartment by Lucy Foley. The link is up. Annie have just started The Little Wartime Library by Kate Thompson.
That was a great read.
It was a great read. Now let me tell you about Devil House by John Darnielle. It's a unique genre-bending read about a true crime writer who moves into a house where murders took place. He's a New York Times best-selling author. It's pretty scary, as you can see from the cover, but certainly worth reading. And this beautiful book, look at that. Don't we just love the cover? The seamstress of Sardinia. It's a beautiful historical fiction novel. And it's translated from Italian into English, and it's about one woman who was born into poverty who becomes a seamstress. Seamstress. I don't know why that word is eluding me at the moment, but she starts to make clothes for wealthy people. Isn't that just the most gorgeous cover?
It is.
Okay. Claire says Devil House looks amazing. Julianne, Silent Country by Di Morrissey is what she's reading. Long, but again compelling. Reading her due to the extensive knowledge of her subject matter. And that's actually quite true. Okay. Yvonne just finished reading The Bookshop on the Shore by Jenny Colgan. So excited. The first of my 100 books arrived today. Spring clean for the Peach Queen.
That was quick.
That was really quick. So they're starting to come through.
Good to know.
Very good to know. So a couple of reminders. Tomorrow is our live event. Join us if you can, where we're talking to this beautiful young woman, Akush, and that's tomorrow, 12 o'clock. Don't forget to listen to our podcast and to rate them, and also download the poster for the top 100. Again, thank you so much for joining us. We love to have you here. We love to hear. I mean, there's so many books we don't know about either. So, and we genuinely look them up as well.
Yeah.
I read all your comments every night. Thank you to Jasmine, who's done a wonderful job.
Thank you for having me.
She's wonderful, isn't she? And thank you to Rose and Dex and Natalie, who are in the room and who are there to support us as well. And we hope that Jane has a fabulous weekend. Okay. Bye. See you next week.
Bye.